Yo, welcome to the YouTube. Welcome to the vlog. Hope you are well and you've been having a sick time. I know it's been forever since I've done a YouTube video on this channel, but I do want to get back into it. I think the main reason is I haven't really been doing any training videos, simply because it's so difficult to film in my gym. The lighting's too harsh, the music is too loud, so it just makes it really, really difficult. I'm going to try and work some ways around it. I think I'm going to do either recordings on my phone and just do voiceovers for YouTube for the meantime, or at the moment on my DJI, I'm shooting in D-Log to try and get better videos. So like when I do it on here, obviously this is my phone, but when I do like my videos using this, then I will put it on D-Log. And it allows me to get better quality look, better quality color, and it allows me to color grade it a little bit. But I think in terms of my gym, because it's so difficult, and whenever I do it on D-Log, it comes out so blue. Um, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna film in auto on there. I'm just not gonna change any settings. I'm just gonna leave it in auto because I do want to do some more training videos. They are fun and people like them. So yeah. And regarding like full days of eating, I would, I really would, and I will. I'm gonna try and do it more. But as I'm living at home, it's just like it just gets I my mum gives me like I just get weird looks about when I'm filming my food and um yeah, it's just yeah. Yeah, it's just a long story. But mum doesn't really like me filming in around the house too much. So, which is fair. It's her house. It's fair. I get that. But I want to do 4 days of eating. So I don't know. Maybe I'll do 4 days of eating where it's just me showing the meals, and I'll just be here, and then that kind of bypasses it all. But yeah, I don't really know, to be fair. My glasses are so dirty. Basically, this video is gonna be um some questions about me, me going over my last competition season, future competition season, how off season's currently going. I got a question about anime, so what animes I'm watching and what do I think of them. Future pacing, also the fact that I just look glorious because I'm lean, so I've got little cheek um indentations, which are cool. But I'm pretty much not going to edit any of this. So yeah, you're just gonna have to deal with it. It's just gonna be me talking for however long this video takes, whether it's half an hour, whether it's an hour, I don't know. I'm just gonna ramble and we'll just see, won't we? But yeah, sit back, enjoy the ride, and hopefully this is a good little watch for you guys. It gives me a little bit of chance just to talk. I mean, since I've been doing these podcasts, since I've been just associating myself with the camera more often, it's so easy to talk to, and I don't really get that kind of that camera shyness anymore. So like as long as I have something to talk about, as long as I have something just to ramble, it's easy to talk to. Because like when I do my podcast now, obviously I have my screen here and the camera's up there. So what I try and do is I just try and look at the camera the whole time. So it's allowing me to get more comfortable just talking to a camera and making it natural, making it seem easy. And it is, to be fair. Like it's not hard anymore. And also like when I watch it back, it actually looks quite good. So I'm gonna carry on doing it and we'll see. But if you haven't already tuned in to any of my podcast episodes, um it's called Built with Intent. It's on YouTube, it's on Spotify, it's on Apple Podcasts. Tune in. There's some sick guests on there. I've had Jace, I've had Tim Physique Pro, I've had Mikey Jamaros, I've had a bunch of other people who are all sick and all fun, and the quality of them are very, very good, if I do say so to myself. So if you haven't already seen that, if you haven't already watched that, I would go tune in because that's pretty sick. Um, so yeah, I'd go watch that if you haven't already. I've got some good guests coming up. Um, but I'll probably release this today, so you won't see this yet. But I have a supplement company which will be coming on. I have a clothing brand that will be coming on. And I just have some other cool bits. I've got a few double guests. Like I got one double guest coming up, where it's going to be three of us, and we're just going to basically chat shit and talk the whole time, which is going to be good fun. Very, very excited for that one. That one's always good to listen to. But yeah, in terms of it, it's just me talking to you, and hopefully you sit back, listen. Um, but yeah, the podcasts are really, really fun because it allows me to learn things, but it also allows you to learn things. And podcasts have actually been a really, really big part of my life in the last 5 months. I've literally been listening to them day in, day out. As you probably will notice, a lot of my podcasts are very much inspired by modern wisdom. I love it. I love Chris. He's sick. He's amazing. And what he does is so cool. So I kind of want to replicate that. I kind of want to make that my theme. Hopefully it takes off. I mean, in the last 11 episodes, we have nearly hit 1,000 streams, which is unbelievable. It's so cool. The fact that I've had so much love from it, the fact I've had so much just enjoyment and general from people is just sick. So let me have a sip because I've been talking too much. But yeah, loving it. It's sick. The podcast is great. So if you haven't listened to already, Built with Intent, I'll put it in the link below. If you haven't already checked it out, and then you can click that and you can view them. Or alternatively, Spotify, which I'll put in the link as well, or Apple Podcast as well. Okay, let's get into it a little bit. So, my background. So I started off. I've always been sporty. I've done shit tons of sport pretty much all my life, different areas. Some sticked longer than others. So the main one that sticked, that kind of influenced a lot of my life, was swimming. I swam from the age of I've been swimming since I'm like 3 years old. As literally as soon as I was able to be associated with a pool, my parents did that. I think that's a very, very good thing personally, and it's something that I will do with my kids. I don't care if you go into, like, if you're my kid and you're listening to this down the line, but I don't care if you enjoy swimming. I don't care if you get into swimming competitively or if you just do it leisurely and have fun with it. I don't care. It's a life skill, and I believe that a lot of people should know how to swim because, like, obviously, being a swimmer, I have been in situations where I've needed to get out of it, and a massive perk is being competitive. Like, I can easily get myself out of it, but not everyone's at that stage. But just fundamentals of swimming, knowing how to swim, not being afraid of the water, is a massive thing. And it's something so easy to do. Like, it's not hard to learn how to swim. And there's so many courses, there's pools everywhere, like you can learn how to swim. But so yeah, from the age of about 7, I started swimming competitively. 6, no, I'm not gonna say that. 7. I'm not gonna do that. From 7, I started swimming competitively. And I swam competitively up until I was about 17. So a good chunk of my life, all of my weekends were taken from that. Like you within competition season, every weekend is you're swimming. You're at an event. If you're not at a swimming event or a gala, you're doing something else. So a lot of my social interaction was within swimming. You know everyone from swimming. If you're somewhat of a good swimmer, a lot of people know you, and you know other people as well. So I was kind of in that bracket where I was in the top end. Obviously not like pro and stuff like that, but I got up to nationals, or just about under nationals. Like I was literally like point one, as I'll explain in a minute. But yeah, I been swimming for years, too long, too long. In the midst of that, I did rugby, I did football, I played diving. I played diving, I played football, I played rugby, I did diving. Um, that was all sick. That was all good fun. I did horse riding for a bit. That was cool. But yeah, like in terms of sport, like I've always been in sport. I love it. I'm a very active and physical person. If you know me well, anything I do in life is physical. Um, I'm not. I'm good at theory, like I'm naturally smart, but I don't enjoy theory. Like if you tell me I have to sit down for 2 hours and do X amount of theory, I'll just look at you with a blank face. Like I I did well in school purely because of COVID. I think if it wasn't for COVID, I probably wouldn't have got as high as I did. Obviously, COVID was peak when I was in GCSEs. Um, so all of our stuff was coursework, all of our stuff was online. And as a result, I got like estimated all eights and nines because my coursework was good and my overall in-class ability and physical ability was high. So I got pretty much eights and nines around the board. And then when it came to the tests, obviously tests are just regurgitation. Like they want it in a specific format. They want you to be this, that, and the other. They want you to make sure that you're saying it in this phrase, not this phrase. Yeah, all bullshit, really, in my eyes. Like, I don't believe in any of that. I don't think that's the way it should be. I think everyone is individual and everyone works in different ways. Do you know what I mean? Everyone works in different ways. So anyway, that's a bit of a tangent, Jesus. But yeah, back to swimming. The reason I stopped swimming in when I was 17, so like 3 years ago, was simply because COVID hit bad. So swimming stopped. That was the first time that I went into the gym and kind of started training properly. I'd been in the gym in and out, just like general training. Like I remember the older guys would go to the gym to get stronger and get bigger, and that would have an effect on the swimming in a positive way. And I remember that was kind of the main reason why I did start getting into it in the first place. But I didn't know that it was go down the route that it did. Obviously, fell in love with the gym a little bit, made quite a bit of progress over COVID one. Then we went back to swimming. I was bigger, so swimming was a bit harder. I transitioned more into a sprinter rather than a long distance swimmer. And then from there, I then went into COVID 2 happened. And then I ended up going kind of full time in the gym. And I said to myself, I'll give gym a full go. So I'll stop swimming. In that kind of period of time over COVID 2, I made the most progress I'd ever made. I'll probably put up photos maybe throughout this, but don't expect them. But not that you would. But yeah, I probably made the most amount of progress that I ever made in that kind of period. And then going forth from that, I went back to swimming. I did a couple competitions and I basically said to myself, I'm like, right, I've got X amount to go. I had to hit this certain time for nationals. And I said, if I don't hit that time, then I'll stop swimming. If I do hit that time, I'll go do it and I'll see how it is. I missed out by 0.0 like 5 off of the time. So I kind of took that as a sign. I know some people will be like, oh yeah, but you were so close, like you could have done it, but I didn't love it. So in a way, the fact that I didn't get it was an excuse for me to say that I don't want to do it anymore. And I'm very, very glad that I did because it allowed me to fall into love with gym more. It allowed me to put more time and more effort into the gym where I feel like swimming was holding me back a little bit. So it allowed me to focus more on what I was doing and how I was kind of pushing myself in that way. And as a result, started training more effectively and making more progress. Now, at the time, I was still in school when bodybuilding started really coming about in my life. So I used to train with Tom, who's one of my best friends from school. And what we do, this is back in the Ziz era when you used to listen to hardstyle all the time. And you go to the gym like all buzzed up, like shit tons of caffeine, just overloading yourself all the time. And yeah, it was just always a between us, it was always a challenge of how much caffeine can we take. Ridiculous, I know. Looking back at it now, I'm telling people not to have caffeine past 12 o'clock, and I used to be blasting like 400 milligrams at like 3:30, 3:50 in the afternoon, and then going to the gym and training. But those are the times. Those are the times. What we used to do is we'd sit in after school, no, not after school class, tutor form time. So our form time used to be in the evening. In the evening, what am I even saying? In the afternoon. It used to be in the afternoon. And what we basically do was we would listen to hardstyle. I'd have my AirPods, he'd have one in, I'd have the other one in. We'd be listening to hardstyle a little bit, going through songs, trying to find the coolest songs that we could find on SoundCloud or yeah, I think I was using SoundCloud at the time or Apple Music at the time, either one. A SoundCloud was for like Ziz music, and then Apple Music was like hardstyle, liquid drum and bass, any sort of those kind of things. And I remember Tom brought in this tub, and I used to have it. I kept it for so long, and I was so annoyed that I got rid of it. But there was this little strawberry and lime pre-workout that was from Amazon. I remember he ordered it from Amazon, or he got it for free. I can't remember, but no, it was from Amazon, and we had it in school. He brought it in, and I remember we were just sitting in the middle of form class, and we were both mixing this pre-workout, and it was luminous pink. I'm not even joking. It was so like obnoxiously pink that you'd look at it and go, you should probably not ingest that. But we did anyway because it was good fun. And who cares? Do you know what I mean? You live once. And I think this kind of thing that is overlooked a lot nowadays in gym is people don't go in there to have fun anymore. Like people don't get into the gym because they enjoy and they love the gym. They go in for a physique goal or they go in for whatever. And I think that's great. And I think having goals are great. Don't get me wrong. I think dedicating yourself to looking a certain way, feeling a certain way is fantastic, amazing. But I got into the gym, yes, because I wanted to be bigger and stronger, but I got into the gym because I loved it. I loved training. I loved spending time with my best mate. I loved pushing each other. Like it was just constant laughs. We were always laughing when we used to train. And that's what made it so special. And I think that's why I made so much progress is because every time that we went into the gym, I loved it. Like I loved going, and when I wasn't going, I noticed that I didn't enjoy it as much, and I wasn't enjoying everything. Like I needed that experience, and that's the reason why when I moved was so difficult because for a lot of my gym career, what am I on about? A lot of my gym time in the gym, I've spent training with either Tom or training with Cameron. I've always been training with someone, and rarely ever did I used to train solo. And when I did train solo, it just wasn't as good. And then obviously I moved here in Winchester, away from everyone, away from my friends, and basically came to a place where I didn't know anyone apart from my close family. And at first it was very difficult because I had to learn how to train on my own, and I had to learn how to just create that intensity that I needed. But now I do I still will always prefer training with someone. But I'm very, very picky with who I train with. Like they have to train with a specific intensity. They have to have the mindset similar to what I have. Like they have to be able to have conversation, have laughs, whatever, but then lock in straight away and back into the set. And I think that's very, very hard to find nowadays. Everyone's they're either super talky and they just want to have conversation, they want to have whatever in the gym, and I just find that really boring. Like, just let me get on my set, do you know what I mean? Or you got the other extreme, which is people who can't not wear headphones and like they shut themselves out, and then they can't train with someone else because it's invading their space or all this bullshit. But yeah, anyway, what got me into bodybuilding was pretty much that love. So Tom and I used to train at the gym back in Watford. And then we moved to a gym called Graftism, which at the time was becoming one of the biggest bodybuilders in like North London. Obviously Watford just being outside of North London, but yeah, it was becoming one of the bigger gyms, especially um within bodybuilding. It was a dedicated bodybuilder gym, and I remember we saw it and we were like, "Oh my God, that's sick." Um, and then next thing you know, we've bought a day pass. We're cycling from school. I've got one earplug, he's got the other earpod, and we're listening to hardstyle on the way to this gym. And to be fair, it was only like a 10-minute cycle, 15-minute cycle. It was pretty easy. And it was just, I remember the first time, I still remember the first few days that we went there, and like you walk in and it's just like blaring hip hop and old school R&B. Oh, it was so good. Or like rap or whatever. Atmosphere was insane. Still is. Still is. It's now changed to gritness. It's no longer graftism. But I miss graftism. It was a cool time. I think when it moved to gritness, it was kind of like around coming up to the time where I was leaving and I was going to Winchester. So it was kind of like a shift in life. But the graftism times was the times that was proper sick. But yeah, so I started training there, started training at a bodybuilder gym with Tom, and then that's where I kind of made more and more and more progress. And at the time, I'd already known my coach. So my coach is Carl Collymore, if you don't know him. You go on my Instagram, I tag him on everything, so you can pretty much find him very easily. But I knew him because he used to be a PT at my old gym, the gym, and then he also trained himself at Graftism. So that's where I started training. I saw him more often, spoke with him a lot more, and basically we were just in DMs. And he was like, "You've got an insane physique. You've got crazy potential. What do you want to do with it?" And then I was kind of like, "Well, I want to see where we can go." I think at first there wasn't a show in mind, but a lot of people have said to me, "Oh, you should compete," or like you've got such good genetics, like you should definitely compete. So it was in my mind, it was in my head, but I didn't really know if it was something that I was gonna do or if it was just something I was thinking about and wasn't too sure about. But I definitely don't regret not doing it at all. It was phenomenal. I loved stepping on stage. I loved that whole process. I think the one thing coming out of prep was I just wasn't present enough. I mean, I could literally do a whole video on just my prep alone because of what, like, the different things that went on, the things that happened, the things I learned, etc., etc. There's so much I can go on about, but there would be no point, really. There would be no point talking about it because it's in the past. I mean, if you guys want a video on my prep and an overview, I'm pretty sure I did somewhat of one, but looking back 18 weeks post show, I think that's where I am, 18, 19 weeks post show. Um, there's a lot that I've taken away from it, and there's a lot that I realized happened and how it could have been different. But going like, so I've just finished a diet or finishing a cut slash diet, and my mindset has never been better. Like, I think everything that I learned in prep, I took into this cut. I was making sure that I don't want anyone to know that I'm in a diet, apart from the fact that I'm just looking leaner and leaner. Like, I don't want anyone to notice it with my energy, notice it with the way I am, the people I'm talking, like the way I talk, everything. I want my energy and everything to be the same, no matter if I'm in a cut or if I'm not. And that is very difficult, especially when we start to get hungry, start to get tired. It is a lot harder to regulate those emotions, but it's one of those things you learn to cope with it, you learn to carry on. So that is that. Um, Obviously, I did a 23 week prep, very long, definitely. in my opinion, for me, it was too long. And I think it's not that the 24 weeks was too long. I think it's just the way that we did it. Obviously, it started off with a photo shoot prep, and then we did the photo shoot, and then we carried on prep from that straight into comp prep. Um, and I just think that whole double long-term prep just wasn't good for me, as well as mindset wise, being 5 weeks out, and I was like not ready, but like I could have gone into a peak week at 5 weeks out. Um, and I think I'd rather we did do that. Like I'd rather that because for me, it's like I want to be in the mindset, and between my shows, I was like dialed in. Like I was just constantly pushing myself, constantly improving, and I needed that. I'm not very good at waiting around. So if I'm ready 5 weeks out and it's just kind of like, okay, now we just hold this, I'll just twiddle my thumbs and get bored. And then and then we spent, and as a result, we were ready 5 weeks out. I had loads of people telling me I was ready, loads of people telling me like this. So I started to take my foot off the gas, and then things started to slip in. Um, Issues started to happen with family, issues started to happen with relationships, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I've spoken about it a few times on my podcast. So if you haven't seen that, there's a few different ones that I spoke about. I think I spoke with Mikey about relationships. I spoke with Charlie Averill about relationships. So watch those two if you haven't already. But yeah, I basically broke up with my ex in oh in my prep, 5 weeks out is what it is. I just didn't feel like I was getting support, and it's kind of why I've had a massive shift in mindset about who I want to date going forwards. I think for me, it's very, very much bodybuilder focused because that's what I want to do in life. I want to be a bodybuilder full time. I want it to be my life. I want to live, breathe, and sleep bodybuilding. So as a result, I feel like I should also have that reciprocated in a partner. Um, but what can you do, eh? You can't have everything. You can't know everything at the time. You also can't expect everything to be perfect. So, yeah, we're here. Anyway, in my season, I did 3 shows. I did one classic and I did 2 bodybuildings. Bodybuilding. The first 2 shows were outside of the top 5. The first show I was really, really upset by it. I didn't think that it was good. I didn't really enjoy it that much. And that's simply because I wasn't present. I wasn't there. Um, and I was very, very self-critical. I was very critical on what I was doing. I was very critical on the way that I was behaving and how I was acting, and it just wasn't great. In a whole, it wasn't great. And it's not the show wasn't great, it was just the way that I was acting, my mentality, my attitude towards everything was wrong. I was so fixated on placing instead of actually being there in the moment and enjoying it being my first ever competition season, which is quite common for people going into things for the first time, as well as like I'm a very, very competitive person. So it's kind of hard for me to go into something and not think, right, I want to win this. I want this. Like obviously everyone goes into it to win, but having the mindset of accepting your place no matter what and doing everything that you can and not really caring about what everyone else does, I think that's a big tip that some people could take on board. But yeah, I think came off stage the first time and Kyle just knew that I wasn't there. He, I mean, he did the typical coach thing of I thought you were here and you were here. Obviously, every judge is different. I don't really believe that I got placed any higher. I was somewhat imbalanced in the rear. Um, I don't think I was lean enough compared to everyone else on there. Um, and yeah, the little things that I kind of expected. I can't lie. Little things I kind of expected. But I think going into next, so I'm going to compete in 2027. I want to compete only in classic physique. I don't really want to do any bodybuilding, um, because I want to alter everything towards classic, as that is what I want to go into full time. I don't want to do bodybuilding, but if I end up doing a season of classic and realizing that my physique just doesn't fit it and it suits bodybuilding more, then I think it'll be kind of like it'll be, it's a tough one because I don't want to go into bodybuilding. I don't want to be chasing being the biggest in the world, like in terms of humongous size. Everyone knows how freakish open bodybuilders look, and that just isn't what I want to go for. I want to go for classic. I want to be big, but I want to be proportionate. I want to be classic looking. And I don't feel like you get that with bodybuilding. Like, don't get me wrong, they look insane, they look awesome, but it's just not me. And I'm okay with that. But yeah, third show, I came fourth. I was first in the first call out. So when they first did the first call out, I was the first name to be read. That was insane. Like, that was unreal to go from being outside of the top five to the and not being in any first call outs, or I think I was in like the third, um, the second or third call out in both times on the first two shows, and then the third show being the first call out and the first name was just unreal. And I think I was only like a point or two off third as well, which was pretty crazy. If I would have got third, that would have been insane. I would have been over the moon, but can't win everything, and that's okay. I've accepted that, and I'm happy with that, and I'm very content, and I'm in a much better position, and I know that the next season will be so much better because of everything that I've learned, everything that I've understood, and just everything that I can take into going forwards, really. I think everyone's different. I don't think everyone will understand that, but yeah, I'm very excited, and I think there's um a lot to come from from the new kind of way of outlook. Um, how's off season going? I'm 18 or 19 weeks post show. I've just finished the diet, so I pushed up from like 78, 79 to 90, and then I pulled back down, and I'm now just on the cusp of 82. So I'm just slightly just above 82, almost 81, hopefully tomorrow morning. But the look is very nice. We can see we're a lot bigger, especially in the legs. My legs have grown quite substantially. Um, and my top shelf is getting a bit better, but that's going to be the main focus going into the next push, as well as just bigger lats, more complete lats. Um, I think I'm going to have a big focus on body work, making sure that I'm getting my body work done, so that we're keeping the physique looking as well rounded as we can and as symmetrical as we can. As I feel like I was quite tight on one side of my lats, so when you look at my stage photos, you can quite clearly see that one side just was being restricted a lot, and it wasn't acting in the way that I wanted it to, basically. Um, what's next in terms of future competitions? Like I said, competing in 2027 in classic physique. Um, they will not be natural shows. Like, it's the route that I want to go down. I want this to be my life. Like I said, I want my job to be bodybuilding. I want to do it full time, and I want to be a full time online coach. So for me, it makes sense to pursue my dream. Um, I'm not attached to the whole natural status. I don't care about and having a natural card. That doesn't bother me in the slightest. It might affect some people, like it might bother some people. Great, cool. I don't think it's cheating. I think it's just a choice in life, and I'm deciding to make this choice, and I can choose however I want, really. But yeah, that's the plan. It's all yet to be decided, so I haven't um I haven't announced what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, blah blah blah. I have actually got the um blood kit from Imulab. I ain't gonna get that done in the next few weeks. The next week, hopefully, either this week or next week, I'll get it done, and then I might share my results. I might not. I might not. I don't really know. It's something that I'm not too sure about, but at the same time, like I'm open with things. Like if someone asks me if I'm natty, I'm gonna say no. Like I'm not gonna hide the fact that I'm going on something because it's gonna be noticeable. Like I'm saying this with Jess because I know for a fact that I'm gonna make quite a big difference on than off. Um, I've got a lot that I want to build, and yeah, I won't talk too much on it because it's something that I can talk about in a future video. Um, but that's the choice I've made. It's just kind of we're gonna get bloods done, see how bloods are looking, and then we'll make the decision whether or not we full steam it, or we push it back. But the aim is to go because the plan was to do a cycle on for prep, just outside and then on prep. And I was just like, well, we might as well just do the whole season if we're gonna commit to ourselves not being able to do natural shows. So yeah, we're doing pretty much a whole off season on, which is pretty cool. Anyway, away from bodybuilding a little bit, um, animes, what animes I'm watching. At the moment, I'm watching so many because there's new seasons of animes, there's new animes that are out, and there's ones that I'm watching that I need to catch up on from other people. So I am watching JJK, the season 3. I'm watching the new season of Free Run. I'm watching the new season of Hell's Paradise. I'm watching Jack of All Trades, which is a new anime, which is coming out weekly. I'm catching up on Haikyuu, which is sick. I love it. I literally just put it on the background at first. I just used it as a background anime, and then I got way too attached to it, and now I'm watching it all the time. Sentenced to Be a Hero, which is a new anime, which is sick. First episode is an hour long. So cool. Action packed to the rim. Um, it's not that it's died off in the last few episodes, but the last few episodes haven't been as good. Like the first couple were absurd, and I think it's kind of dropped off a little bit, but that's what happens. And then Fire Force, the new season, which I can't tell you it's disappointing. It started off really cool. And it's just the last kind of 4 episodes have been somewhat slow. The episode that came out today was actually pretty cool. Not yeah, it came out today. It was really cool. Like I really enjoyed that, but they haven't all been like that. The last kind of 3 or 4 have just been pretty disappointing, to be fair. But that's kind of what happens, really. In terms of JJK, new season, love it. It's very cool. Um, I I don't always like watching them episode each week because sometimes, especially when I'm watching quite a few, I forget different things, and then you don't get the picture as well as if you just binge it. Um, Free Run, I just love. It's just such a chill anime, and it's just cool. And Free Run's voice is just sexy, so that's. I'll put my hands up. That is the main reason why I watch it. Free Run's voice is very hot, so that's just why I watch it. Um, Hell's Paradise is sick. It's so cool. I loved Hell's Paradise season 1. I've been loving the new season as well. It's just cool. Like it's just one of those animes that he's just OP. I don't think they've showed enough of the main character fighting, um, as much as they did at the end of the last season, but I have a feeling it'll build up towards the end, so I'm here for it. It's good. Um, it's very cool. Could be a little bit better, but I think if you were to ask me when the season's finished, I might have a different view. Jack of All Trades is an amazing anime. It's so cool. For a new anime, I loved Elden Ring so much. Like I was obsessed with Elden Ring, the game, when it came out. I beat the game like 5 times. I did like 5 or 6 reruns, which was pretty cool, and I just spent way too long on that game. But that very, very much reminded me of Jack of All Trades, which I really like. And yeah, very cool. Haikyuu obviously is a sport anime, so it's based on handball. I think it's very cool. Um, yeah, I just think it's very cool. Like, I think the character atmosphere is very good. The relationships between characters, the humor is very good as well. So, yeah, I just think like I said, I think it's a chill anime. I started watching it in the background and I just got attached to it. And I think other people would be the same. I'm not really a big fan of sport animes, but I definitely think this was a very, very good one. So if you haven't, I would watch it. Obviously, I explained Sentence to Be a Hero and Fire Force, but yeah, that's pretty much it in terms of animes. I've got a few that I want to watch. So the ones that I want to watch, um, are Returners. A Returner's Magic Should Be Special. That one looks cool. I think that's like a short anime. Another short anime, The Reincarnation of the Strongest Exorcist in Another World. Mob Psycho 100, I want to watch really badly. Aristocrats Otherworldly Adventure Serving Gods Who I can't remember, I can't read the rest of it, but Serving Gods Who blah blah blah. That looks really cool in terms of um anime art style. Looks really cool. Tower of God just looks sick. Again, just action packed. Windbreaker looks really, really cool. A second season has come out the last relatively recently, and that looks really good. And then there's one more, Dead Account, which I think the art style looks really, really cool. So I think I'm gonna put that on my watch list. But I think that's something I want to watch as well, Dead Account, which is pretty cool. But I'm watching a load of things. Um, I'm happy to watch so many different things. Like Blue Lock does interest me to a degree, but not enough that I want to watch it really, if that makes sense. Like, it's cool. I also um am interested in Digimon, but I don't know if I want to watch it. It's kind of a hit or miss one. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not 100% like there's loads and loads and loads of animes that you could watch that are all really, really cool. I just think that there's so many more that are better than ones that people think are amazing. But that's kind of my view. But yeah, so they're the animes I'm watching at the moment. Um, yeah. And then the last one kind of question that I got was, where do I see myself in the next 3 to 5 years? I'd like to hope within 5 years I have an IFBB Pro card. I think that would be really sick. That's the bodybuilding side of it. I want to be well and truly full-time online coach. Hopefully an extra coach, maybe 2 coaches within my brand, which will be really, really cool. I can potentially see a shift in brand name in future. Obviously, it's trained by Tabs at the moment, but with the rise in my podcast, Built with Intent, and I think the ethos behind Built with Intent is really cool. And I think in future, I could probably call out that the name of the coaching will change to Built with Intent because I think it's similar to a podcast that I had with Jace the other week. Um, was more about like he wanted to change away from a brand. Like he didn't originally want the brand to be associated with him. Like obviously he's the brand owner, but he didn't want the brand to be his name. That was just what happened. And I think I'm the same. Like I think Train by Tabs is really cool and it links to what I started with and the originality of my coaching. But I think going forward, I want it to be more of a name of a brand that's known. And I think Built with Intent is pretty cool. Um, I think I no doubt there'll be either it'll change within the next 2 years to Built with Intent, and then it'll change again. But that's just kind of the nature of a fitness brand and the nature of values changing. Um, but yeah, I think that's a pretty cool way to look at it. I think full-time online coach, hopefully an IFBB Pro card, and yeah, we'll see from there. I think I'm I want my coaching brand to be six figures, but I'm not attached to the money. Um, I'm not like, I need this, I need this, I need that. I want to be earning enough that I can be comfortable, um, in terms of like what's coming in and what's going out. Like I don't ever want to be comfortable, but like I want enough money to come in where I don't really have to think about money too much. Um, I also want an upgraded car, of course, everyone wants that. And I want to have moved out within, to be fair, like moving out is like within 1 to 2 years. But 3 to 5, I probably want a place rather than like a rented place, or just moving out in general. And I think it will most likely be with Tom and Cameron. I think that's the two that we've planned to move out for like the last year or year and a half. So I definitely think that's probably what's going to happen. But yeah. So where do I see myself? IFBB Pro card, full-time online coach, coaching brand making six figures, potentially changing brand name, and then moving into my own place. Yeah, I also within that time frame, I want to do at least 3 shows abroad. I think that's pretty cool. Maybe one in Tokyo, in Japan. That'd be sick. Okay, cool. Well, that is all the questions that I have. I know I rambled on a shit ton, so hopefully you stuck around for this long and you've had fun listening and it's not been too bad. Obviously, I'm so used to talking for ages now because of podcasts, so I mean, 47 minutes isn't too bad, but it is definitely a longer video. Jeez, I'm lean. But yeah, big things coming in the next X amount of time, next few weeks. I got a photo shoot with a new brand coming out, which is cool. I'm very, very grateful to be helping out a brand start out, which is cool. Big names on the podcast, supplement company, clothing company, and just a few other big names and some good collabs that's going to be on the pod. So keep an eye out for that. And yeah, 2027, I'll compete. I'll most likely document all my journey on prep because I just think is a good way for myself, but it's also for everyone else to keep along with. But yeah, sick. If you've had fun, if you've enjoyed listening, leave a like, leave a subscribe. Hopefully, I haven't spoken too much and you haven't got bored, and yeah, you're interested enough to stick around. But if you made it this far, sick. Thank you very much. I appreciate you guys, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.